Hello, hello, no one here yet. I have technical issues. What can I say? Anyway, until somebody gets here, I'll just sit here till someone arrives. Hey, now is your name Elle or Ellie? Which is it you go by? Because it can be pronounced either way. I have a few stories to tell today. If it's just you and me, sister, I'm good. We have change of weather here, so we're like congestion. L. Um, I have. I want to run this by you. Do you think I want to do a little bit of? I've been doing a lot of energy healing education. I'm also a second level Reiki practitioner. And I wanted to do a little bit of tapping and EFT and um, acupressure points and stuff because most of us, by the time you get around to our age, even on a good day, even those of us who have a chronic pain issue, we're taking all the medicine we can, and adding a little bit of something to help is a good thing, I think. As long as you're not interfering with your doctor's orders and things like that. So um, there's a yeah, my Reiki master teacher that attuned me to Reiki originally was a family and marriage therapist, and she taught us EFT that she uses in her therapy. She did. She's passed, but um, yeah, and there's one that's really good, and it's for headaches. And this isn't tapping. This is the acupressure. I have also people that I have a friend who does acupressure as well. I got interesting friends, can I say? And I'm trying to figure out if I think I can do anything about the reflection in my glasses. Um, that there's one acupressure point that's on the hand. Now, I have hands just like MA. If you ever see him hold up his hands are like a little bit bigger version of mine, but they look exactly the same. We have the same hands. I got MA hands, or he has my hands because I'm older, right? Anyway, there's one that's, you see this little web thing here? You know, this little stretchy thing, which we've seen in the Mandela effect. You know, this part of the hand has changed. little hanging down part here, a hanging down part. Um, but if you do that and you go into the hand a little bit, now they say not to do this if you're pregnant because it can induce labor. I wish information I could have used when I was 2 weeks late. Mm, I love you, Crystal. All my kids were late by 5 days to 2 weeks. I mean, I never had any of them on time. But you massage that. You massage that. It's not, not real hard. If you're sensitive, if you have like a lot of tenderness, I would be very, 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 very gentle with that. Okay, and you just do it for a few minutes. You do it over here, you know, and it helps to, uh, helps to open up, I guess, the meridians enough so that the brain and the skull and all that stuff, everything's got the blood flow it needs. Like I always thought headaches, I guess, were caused by tightening. Now I have a little tightening because I'm kind of nervous. A little tightening back here. Yeah. Well, I don't know. There's never a perfect time, is it, to have a baby? They come at inconvenient times. But you massage this. And another thing, I'll look up for migraines next time. I'll look up and see what they recommend for migraines because I had a dear friend Greg had a bad migraine and it just put him down for 2 days, 2 or 3 days, which, as you know, they will. They'll knock you flat. My grandmother used to have migraines, and it was very debilitating. Just got out of the shower, and my hair was like. um. So yeah, I'll look up migraines. I will definitely do that. I have a note. Did I write that down? You think I'd be more organized, wouldn't you? Get it together, girl. I'll look up one for migraines. No, none of this acupressure and tapping. Most doctors, excuse me, most doctors won't tell you um, not to do these things because either they believe that they help or they believe they won't hurt. Okay, so you can experiment on yourself. But another one is like if you have sinus, you can tap right here. And for the obvious reason, when you have a sinus headache, you apply heat, it opens things up. You can apply heat and cold alternately, that gets circulation moving. But the tapping is so much easier. Anyway, if you're the only one here, girl, we're going to have fun. Maybe other people come by after a few minutes. Anyway, I plan to do this every Saturday around 9ish, you know. And yeah, I know that migraines can make you like not be able to hold down food. It can give you nausea and all that fun stuff. And you got a family to take care of. It's got to be, with all your health issues, it's got to be so, so challenging. Anyway, let's get to the story. Oh, before I get to the story, I want to, I want to talk about like synchronicities and stuff. We who are Mandela affected seem to have a lot of these. Even regular people that are, you know, I don't know. I don't think we're regular people. The other people, oh, the other people. The synchronicities as the Earth is moving away from the lower energies. As I'm crossing my finger, that's happening. That we're going to see more synchronicity. We're going to see more manifesting things in the world, and this is. I always felt this is kind of tied to the Mandela effect because the um, the nature of reality is so malleable. You know, Cynthia Sue Larson, I've met her twice. I've seen her at psychic fairs. Lovely, lovely person. She has an inner light. She's just, you just want to hug her when you see her because she's just so full of this light, and she's so positive. And I think that if we can emulate that attitude as much as we can, we will have better outcomes in our shifting. You know, it would be nice if we just stop shifting. But I'm not quite sure what's going on, whether the nature reality that we're affecting our particular bubble or if it's affecting the world. Or I have no, you know, I'm not going to speculate because I don't know. And I'm not going to do work other people have done better than I. I will do some Mandela effect videos again, but I'm not going to do something that someone else has done, at least not much, because I kind of feel it would be duplication of effort. And to tell you the truth, at my age, I don't want to waste my time on duplicating someone else's work. Um, if I don't have anything unique or refreshing to add, excuse me, I don't see the purpose. Yeah, I think we do. I think there's a microcosm and a macrocosm with the Mandela effect. And you know, there are some people. There's a man that's in the Midwest who his world, his immediate surroundings changed some right in front of him. From, you know, and his wife changed, and her preferences. I mean, you know, I've talked to him. You probably know who I'm talking about. And it's like you just go, wow, how difficult that must be. Whether you know, people that are skeptics, you know, I wouldn't believe the Mandela effect if it didn't happen to me personally. It's a very subjective experience. My mother always said I had a great memory, and it's like, you know, I trust my memory. I'm educated. I'm well read. I'm, you know, I studied history and science and all that jazz about Taz, you know. So I really think that, you know, we have more effect and more power in our world than we realize. And excuse me, haven't had my tea yet. I'm steeping over there. My tea, my Yorkshire tea. Yes, it's becoming teeness. Anyway, I think we affect our reality a lot. And so, you know, you see these people that are just. I know the first year when I kind of put it all together, I thought, wow, what am I supposed to do here? It 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 threw me into a depression, but not a normal depression. It was a depression of just being gobsmacked. Just what do I do now? You know, kind of thing. And trying to keep the sun from turning in me into weirdness. Not much I can do about my weirdness. It's just there. But I mean, it's like, you know, those of us who, when we found out, you felt so alone because you thought, well, am I going crazy? Does anyone else does anyone else notice any of this, you know? And it begs to differ, you know, exactly, you know, how to deal with it. And some of our MEs, our personal MEs, nobody would even remember because they're so personal, like you said. Shared history you have with people will be different. I mean, they don't talk about this kind of thing so much. They talk, oh, the residue. I said, you know, I really am more concerned about how it all affects you as personally, in a human sense, in a spiritual sense, emotional sense. And, you know, coping with all that has been challenging. And, you know, some of my kids believe me, some of them don't. And I'm not upset about that. The ones that do believe me, especially my youngest, he's my two youngest, I think, are more aware. One doesn't really want to deal with it. The other one knows it, but it doesn't bother him. Um, History with my husband. There are things he said we did. I'm just going, we did. Did we? Maybe. I don't remember that. But that could be. Um, hey, GPK. Strangest, strange. My life is strange. I'm strange. We're all strange. Like the cat. We're all mad. But I mean, the ME is very much a personal experience, and it's very subjective. And you know, you, people aren't going to believe you. They think you're wacky doodle doo. That sort of thing. And I have this. Oh my goodness sakes! Let's see if I can do something about this. I don't have my curtains up yet. We just did some remodeling last year. We're still not put together. We're still not. Sorry about that. Still not put together. There, I put a. I think that'll work. There, a little bit better. Anyway, so here we have this experience, and we doubt. First thing we do is doubt our sanity. Really, when we start finding this out. Well, I had an experience that was really different. I mean, you see, I've had house colors change overnight. This is nothing new. Thank you. Oh, I got the frizzle. It's been humid. We actually got rain. Anyway, I've seen house colors change overnight. I've seen, uh, this sort of thing where, Fruit Loops, okay, Fruit Loops, we all know Fruit Loops, used to be FROOT Loops, LOOPS. Then it went to Fruit Loops, FRUIT LOOPS. Now it's FROOT LOOPS again. It's a flip flopper thing. And of course, we know all about Egypt, and now looks like it has a golf course next to it. I swear to God. And it's like we know that place was out in the frickin' desert, and you had to take a camel to get to it, and it wasn't anywhere near, um, you know, any water to speak of. And the latest one I saw was Nefertiti. Now we all know about the famous painted bust that eye isn't finished. It's like it's not finished. Now she was the wife of Akhenaten, wasn't she? And he was the one who wanted to become he was a monotheist. Hey Claire. Oh, so good to see you guys. I've missed you so much. Group hug, group hug. Anyway. We know that there was that famous bust of her. Morphology in our world, how things look around us, GPK is certainly a factor. We see places change, we see buildings appear and disappear, and then that sort of thing. Anyway, Nefertiti or Nefertiti, I don't know. It doesn't sound good anyway you say it, really doesn't. But the famous bust was the only one. The only one. Now there's two, and it's made out of granite, and it's missing the headdress, but otherwise it's complete. The headdress maybe they made the headdress out of wood or something like that, okay? Or it's a separate piece that it's sort of sat down on there. But it's made of red granite, reddish looking granite, and it's perfect. And it looks exactly like the other bust in the face. I mean, it looks like it was done by the same sculptor. And to me, that's, oh my goodness sakes. I have to hold my my cardboard up. Um, so I mean, that's something that was new for me. MA would always talk about, pick something that you watch, that you know about a few things, so you can see when we shift and all that. Uh, Another thing that I've had lately is uh, the full moon is affecting me way more than it used to. Now, I've been doing a lot of spiritual work. I've been doing a lot of energy healing. I've been meditating, because I have that tarot channel. Whether you have a bugaboo about that or not, to me, it's really about. I got to get those curtains up. It's really about a spiritual practice. I do it to make me do my meditating and my accessing my intuition and the higher self and the collective consciousness and that sort of thing. And so I've been having some, I think the that's affecting get closer in, maybe that'll help. That's affecting my reality. Now, I've always been the one to preach Cynthia Sue about positive thinking. Yeah, that pink dolphin. It's like everything's LGBT now. Even the dolphins are pink. Breast breast health awareness dolphins. I don't know. It's like how freaky, really freaky. Anyway, so if you do a lot of meditating, you'll start to see synchronicities and stuff. Now, so on top of the EFT that I'm going to be, doing at the beginning of my streams while I wait for people to arrive, um, and maybe acupressure stuff, little things to help you feel better. I do have a 2 degree in occupational therapy assistant, so you know, and I am a second level Reiki practitioner. So these things, I'm working on getting certified in EFT. So I'm not going to tell you anything that isn't out there. You can look up on YouTube any of the tapping or acupressure things for pain or headache or stress. They're out there. Anyway, I'll be sharing those in the beginning. But anyway, back to the synchronicities. There is a way to encourage synchronicities because we do create things from the quantum level up in this time-space reality, which we call the 3D, which isn't nearly as solid as we thought it was, is it? And you can say, now some people say, well, you could ask your ancestors or the angels. And I'm going, well, it doesn't matter who you ask, the universe, your higher self, because it's the intention that makes the difference. You can say, I would like my ancestors or my angels to leave dimes around to let me know they're near, or feathers, or I'd like to see frogs if my angels or ancestors or guides are near to remind me that, they're watching over me, okay? Um, so this is something you can do. And lo and behold, if it doesn't work, So what is going on? I said, well, I think we Mandela affected people especially have an impact on our microcosm in our personal bubble. And if we clear negativity and we energize ourselves, hopefully we can have our personal bubble be a little more stable, because that gentleman that's in the Midwest who's had really horrible stuff that he's dealt with, maybe his life will calm down and settle and ground a little bit, because you know the more unsettled we are, I think, the more jumbled wumbled our personal environment becomes. But try that. I'd like to see pennies, or I'd like to see the color of this or this animal as I'm out and about. And this could be just psychological that you're looking, but I mean, I think that the Mandela affected people, that we have some greater connection to the quantum level, or more awareness of it than other people, perhaps. Anyway, now that there's a few people here, let me tell you the story of the cup. I make tea every morning. Sometimes I put it in this. It's Yorkshire tea usually, and I'm waiting for that to steep before I put my milk in it. Hi, hi, Voynich. Good to see you. Awesome to see you. Anyway, let me tell you the story of the cup. We get kind of jaded, or like, I know I don't really like to dwell on the Mandela effect so much, because it can be stressful. If you think that there's nothing you can trust in the world. No, I when I started getting the Yorkshire tea, I was like, this is the tea for me. Anyway, the Scottish in me goes, yeah, I have ancestors in the Yorkshire area. It must be that. I don't know. Anyway, the story. I get up one morning, and I go to make my tea. And this is my favorite regular cup. It's porcelain. You can see through it. It's high quality, heavy china. And there's no chips. It's beautiful. It's Matre de Oneida. Matre de. Porcelain made in China. It's a. I have three of these, although my one of my people broke one. Anyway, so I'm making. Hey, Pegs. Oh, so good to see you guys. I want to do this every Saturday morning just for a few minutes so we can just touch base. I'm going to tell you my story, and then I want you, if you have anything to tell me about what's been going on, let me know. Anyway, the story of the cup. Here I am getting my tea. Now, uh, I use, sometimes I'll put like chia seed, or, I'm in California, we're weird. Okay. Or holy basil seed, which is nutritious and fibrous, and they swell up in water. And I'm reaching for the holy basil seed, and I reach instead for the Thai tea, which is a loose leaf tea, and I accidentally put it in this cup. Now, this is to let you know that I just didn't do this mindlessly. I didn't just grab a cup mindlessly. Okay, I took it out of the cupboard in a spot that this only fit in. This barely fit in it. It's a big cup. It's a big cup, and it was near the front of the cupboard, and it was just able to fit in there and be able to close the door. So here I am. I accidentally put Thai tea in it. It's like, no, 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 I don't want Thai tea. So I dump it back out into the container and put it back, the lid back on. Then I finally find the holy basil. seeds, and I put those in there. And then I put my whatever it was I wanted to use, Yorkshire tea probably, and I put it in this cup. Now I'm not in my media room right now. I'm in my bedroom where I do my other streams. I may move everything back in there eventually, but I'm waiting for my son to make bookcases for me. Anyway, so I've been handling this cup for a good minute. I've been 2 minutes, 3 minutes. I've been working. I've been heating up the water. I'm not sleepy. I'm not one of those people that walks around um, sleepy for half an hour when they first wake up. I'm up. I'm up. I'm awake. I have 5 kids. You moms know when you're awake. You're awake. If you hear a sound, you're awake. You're not one of those. Ooh. No, it's like, especially if something startles you. Ooh, I'm awake. So I fill this up with hot water. I put my sweetener in it, and I go to the media room, which is in the other room where my library is, my bookcases, and I set it down in the little table next to my recliner that I sit when I do my video games and stuff, and I watch movies in there and stuff. So I sat it down. Well, I had to go do something else. I went out of the media room to do something in the kitchen. I'm not sure what it was. And a few minutes later, I come back. I come back and I look at the table and I'm like, I mean, we get to the point where we're used to, we're so, we've adjusted to the Mandela effect. We don't let things rattle us because, like, we see the house color change. It's like, oh yeah, whatever, you know. Well, when I went back in there, this is the cup that was there. This cup doesn't fit in the space where the other one was in the cupboard easily. I'm not a big fan of this cup because this has got a little bit of chipping on it. So, I like the porcelain cup much better. But this is the cup that was on the little table full of tea. And I'm just looking at this and it's like, I'm a little rattled. Normally, in my personal bubble, I have better control, I guess. Like when I was driving and I shift from one when I was driving and I shifted from one timeline to another and find my vehicle in a different spot, and having avoided 2 huge accidents that could have killed me, just like that, I'm safe. I'm out of that situation. Claire, the energies, I mean, they've been rough. Okay, they've been rough, girl. They've been rough, girl. You know what I had to do? I had to get myself. I have a jade phoenix, which is the feminine, but I had to get an obsidian yin and yang necklace that has the phoenix and the dragon. The phoenix is the feminine, the yin, the yang is the dragon. Because I felt so knocked off my usual stability. So um anyway, yeah, the things that when they happen in real time in front of you and they're noticeable, especially if you're in the car. I avoided 2 major accidents. My car was in a different place than it would have been. It's physically changed places in defying physics. Can you prove it? No. I know MA had something like this happen too. So yeah, 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 and as the vibrations of everyone on the planet start to raise, we see a lot of pushback from the duality, the darkness and the light is becomes more separate. It's becoming more separate so people can make easier choices on, are you going to choose love or fear, or anger or whatever. Anyway, so this cup turned into this cup, and when I went to the cupboard, now I have three of these. The two cups that I had were on the second shelf, and I'm short. It's difficult for me to reach those. I'm just like going, really, and and who's going to believe me? Who's going to believe me when I tell them that? Well, GPK, you can lurk all you want, but I'm so glad you said hi. I really am. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I this last 2 years, year and a half, 2 years, I know we've all been through it. We have. And I'm not going to be like, enlightening you to all kinds of amazing and Mandela effects. I mean, um, but I will when I have one, and I will do some videos. I have a bunch of notes on videos I like to make, but I don't want to duplicate effort. There are people that are doing a lot of that, and I am more working on my spiritual stuff right now. Anyway, so when that happened, uh, normally when the timeline shift happens, we don't have the cold water dumped on us like that. Have the my ringing of my ears is very high pitched, but it's not very loud right now. But it has been very loud. Okay, so that sort of thing has been thing. But look for synchronicities, look for numbers. So, ask, see if you can create your own synchronicities. And if you start seeing that and start realizing the power of your mind on the effect of your personal reality, um, I think that he'll help you feel a little less lost, maybe a little less out of feeling like a victim. You want to get out of that mentality right away, because the more negative you are, the more you attract that kind of thing. And the incident of the cup, that kind of threw me for a while. It was like I'd been doing my thing, getting the house put back together, and doing my spiritual and my energy work and my meditating, and because there's only certain things you can do. Yeah, and we know the moon looks freaking weird, and its behavior is not consistent. And we used to have, I think that's the one thing when you're Mandela affected that really um, starts to affect you. Why can't I get that stupid thing to work? Starts to affect you is you don't have a world where you can feel like you can depend on it. That the world isn't dependable. It's not the safe feeling place you used to think it was. And maybe it never was, because I think that looking back, once I discovered what was going on for me, um, I saw how uh, things started happening further back in my life than I realized. And I honestly believe my mother, she she really changed. And I don't know if it's because of her health, but I mean, her personality changed. And older people, sometimes this happens if they have ill health. And I'm still not sure, if it was a shift thing or if it was her health thing. but it was odd. It was like when she passed, and I know you're going to think I'm crazy. Um, I, I didn't, I mean, she'd been sick a long time and I mourned her death, but it didn't affect me like it did my sister. It practically destroyed my sister. Of course, she had a very complicated grief because of their relationship was very rocky. My mother didn't even want to see anyone but me near the end, which, there wasn't anything I could do about that. But it's like, when did this all start? It was 2012. I said, I think there are theories, and I'm inclined to think there might be something that affected things on the quantum um, level that might have jump started things. And that was when we dropped the bombs on Japan. Um, and we don't do conspiracy theories here, Grant, sorry. And I'm a believer in science, and all of us have gotten vaccinated in my family, both sides, and nobody's having any trouble. So you're entitled to your opinion, but I will not be talking about political or conspiracy theories. The only theory I'm talking about is the Mandela effect, and the only reason I believe it is because it happened to me. Uh, I'm a medically trained person, so I'm not the one to do that. Oh, have your own channel if you want to talk that sort of thing. Anyway, so the bomb that went down on in Japan, nuclear bombs, that they start on a quantum level, and there's some people who believe that there was a fracturing of the timelines started then, or at least destabilized them, perhaps. And that quantum entanglement. I think that the more you can have a positive thing in your personal world with your personal relationships, the more likely, if you shift, they shift with you. In 2012, I think, I think we got all moved because the earth went, because we're not on the Sagittarius arm anymore. Um, Neil deGrasse Tyson had made that mistake that we were on the Sagittarius arm. He's like, what? We're not? So whatever's going on, um, our ability to control it is, I hope not. We've had enough, haven't we had enough? Whatever's going on, what can we do about having more personal stability and happiness and that sort of thing? I'd like to think that what we can do is try to be more positive, because the more positive you are, like Cynthia Sue Larson says, the more you affect things way down in the quantum level and outcomes become better for you. And I believe that I've manifested some freaky, wild, amazing things. So I know it works. I know it can happen. I know we have things that we can do. You should never feel disempowered by it. I mean, you do when you first learn about it. I know I did. I felt like, why am I alive? Why is this? What's going on, and why am I here? Okay. And some people run to religion. Some people run to spirituality. I've always been into spirituality, so it wasn't anything new for me to do that. But we all have our coping mechanisms, whether it's concentrating on family and our health and things like that. But if you come to some kind of peace with it, and not go to feeling like you're the victim, you know. Victim mentality is so self-destructive, I have to tell you this. It keeps you stuck and keeps you from moving forward. And you do feel like, you've been picked on, and you could always go the other route and think you're chosen. I don't know. I don't know uh, if it's either. I don't know. I don't know why some of us have this going on. Anyway, I've been looking at the Tao, the Tao, the Tao, and there's a great story that I thought I would share with you. And it was about when I am in the Tao, everything around me is in the Tao. That's paraphrasing. The story goes like this. There was a village that was experiencing tremendous drought. They were desperate. They wanted some way to relieve this drought, and they felt powerless. So they send their best traveler, their best adventurer out to find someone to help. And this person goes out and travels and finds a wise sage in the mountains near the village and says, "Oh, wise sage, come and help us. We've had a drought. We need your help. Can you help us?" Yes. So they travel. They travel back to the village, and the sage walks around the village, looks around, nods his head, and goes up just outside the village on the hill and builds a little structure, little shelter, and goes inside to contemplate. He sits there for 3 days and contemplates. He comes out, takes apart the shelter, and starts walking away. And just at that moment, it starts to rain. And the traveler, the person that went to get him, he says, "How did you make it rain?" He says, "I didn't make it rain. I just sat here and got into the Tao, and when I get into the Tao, everything around me goes into the Tao, into that sacred knowing acceptance kind of thing." And so I think if we personally can kind of enter into the Tao in our personal life, not being so reactive, but being more centered and grounded and at peace, I think maybe our personal lives will, maybe calm down a little bit. We'll attract more, peace and wholeness, if you will. Um, is there anything else? Oh, I was really, anytime I want to know something, uh, things always come to me that will help me learn something. If there's a particular thing I want to learn, it will come to me. It'll somehow the opportunity will be there. I don't know if I'm seeing the opportunity before it happens, or if or whatever. But this is about synchronicities as well. And what we have here is like, um, I wanted to learn more about the chakra system. Whether you believe it or not, the energy system of our body that goes from. It's actually, we have minor chakras in our hands and feet and in our eyes and stuff like that. But the main ones, are from the tailbone to the top of the head, basically. And I want to learn more about that. So there was a summit that had a great talk about it. And then I just thought, I'm looking for some kind of a meditation. And I found a box of my CDs, uh, I'd like to get them all digitized on my computer eventually. But and they spilled. I knocked them out and they spilled. It was a box about so, there was like 60 plus CDs in there and they had just spilled on the floor. And I'm picking them up, and one is off from the others. And there was one on chakra clearing, and I have it here somewhere. Or not. Oh, there it is. This was off by itself. away from the others. Well, that's really annoying. It's reversed. Uh, let me see. I don't know if I can do anything about that. Anyway, I'll investigate if I can get this right side round. Anyway, being grounded in the present moment. Yeah, El, being grounded. That's why I was interested in the chakra system because they say energies get stuck, or you'll have too much energy in one area and not enough in another, and things aren't flowing. And um, and so, oh, it isn't okay because it is for me. Weird. Um, and so you have this going on. Oh, well, thanks. Good to know. And so whatever it is your spiritual practice is, whatever works for you. It doesn't matter to me what religion you are, what spiritual practice you do, whatever works for you. But I would definitely consider um, having something you do to help ground you, to help calm you when things get wacky doodle, when you have the cup incident, that sort of thing. So, this is, coping mechanisms. I guess this is the Mandela Effect support group. And, it's been awesome to see you. This is open to questions or anything personal experiences you've had, anything going on that you had recently that you remember that's really shook you up. Um, Anything at all? Anything recently that you've noticed other than the usual craziness in the world? Anyone? While you're thinking about that, I'm going to. I will pull a Tao card. How about that? I Ching Tao kind of thing. I have a bunch of cards here, and they're just cards with sayings on them. I know, GPK. I like CDs. I don't buy anymore though. I have, yeah, the pink dolphin. When we're gonna get a purple one, Al? Oh, don't manifest that. We don't want to have a purple one. Oh, and all those things that they're finding, all those weird insects and weird animals and weird, you know, there, I'm a member of several Mandela Effect groups on Facebook, so I keep an eye on what's going on. There's one that just actually there's two that popped out. Hear that same word, and then later having daily synchronicities, like I will hear a word, and then I'll read that same word, and then later I'll see a YouTube video about it. Also, same for numbers are everywhere. Yeah, yeah, the synchronicities are just insane. They really are. Um, like I said, ask for some kind of sign, from the divine. That rhymes. Anyway, this one says, the turning point, return, the start of a new cycle, right timing, regeneration, inevitability, and steady improvements. Um, Talk about cycle changes a lot, and you'll see a lot of this going on with any of the tarot readers. I talk about cycle changes, and you know, um, I think some of the cycle changes that we've seen are Mandela effect kind of stuff too. But in the personal life, this is when you're going, into a new phase of your life. You're letting go of something that doesn't serve you anymore and embracing something new. We can all get stuck And if you're in the Mandela effect, you can get really stuck in that uh, depression and frustration and feeling alone and that. And it's like you can't move forward, and that's just not healthy. Not healthy. This one is the turning power of the great. Self discipline, concentration, strengthen your character from within, self awareness, and realizing potential. The power of the mind. Never underestimate the power of the mind. I have a book by Bill Moyers called The Power of the Mind. I haven't read it yet. I'm not sure where it is. Probably in a box, not in my library yet. Uh, but I mean, mainstream science and all other things, they know about the power of the mind. They know about it. So get that mind power going in your favor, and keep yourself safe. Take care of yourself. And I'll talk to you next week. And I'll have something else to share probably. Uh, I hesitate to ask the universe for more Mandela effects to experience. Maybe I will be courageous and do that and have something weird happen. Like I need more weird stuff in my life. So I say take care and thank you all for coming. It's been so nice to see you. And I'll be here next week for a few minutes, and you can tell me about, try to manifest those synchronicities this next week. And this will help remind you of the power of your mind, that you have more power than you realize, that you are more empowered than you realize. And keep thinking those good thoughts, everybody.